All right, let's talk about it. How does the middle movie in a massive fantasy trilogy become a legend all on its own? We're going to break down The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers and really dig into why so many people call it a near-perfect sequel.
I mean, that's a pretty bold claim, right? But this isn't just hype. It's a feeling that's been echoed in reviews for decades. This film had the huge, monumental task of following up a modern classic, and somehow, it didn't just meet expectations, it totally shattered them.
So how did they pull it off? How does a sequel not just live up to the original, but in some ways actually surpass it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack the three pillars of its success: a really risky narrative structure, a character that changed the game forever, and, well, maybe the greatest battle sequence ever put on film. Okay, first up, let's talk about the film's most daring move, splitting our heroes up and following three completely separate storylines. You know, this could have been a total mess. It could have felt clunky or uneven, but instead, it ended up being one of the movie's biggest strengths.
And this is where you see the film's brilliant balancing act. On one side, you've got the thrilling, forward momentum of Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. That's the heart of the Resistance. But on the other hand, you have the dark, intensely personal journey of Frodo and Sam, which carries all this incredible emotional weight. It's really the soul of the film. But it's more than just a simple contrast. As Aragorn is struggling to accept his destiny to be a king, Frodo is struggling to fight off the corrupting power of the ring. One journey is about becoming a hero, and the other is about resisting becoming a monster.
By weaving all these threads together, the movie creates this incredible, sweeping tapestry. The physical war for Middle-earth on the outside perfectly mirrors the spiritual war for Frodo's soul on the inside. It makes this huge fantasy story feel grounded with real, human stakes, and it makes the danger feel incredibly, palpably real.
And speaking of those threads, one of them introduces a character who would just completely steal the entire movie. And that brings us to our second pillar, Gollum.
And that's really not an exaggeration. Gollum is absolutely central to why this movie works so well. He isn't just a creepy monster or a simple guide, he is a deeply, deeply complex being who pushes the whole story into much darker, more psychological territory.
So, what is it about him that makes him so unforgettable? It's that unbelievable complexity, right? This constant war that he's fighting with himself, and it's just captured so perfectly on screen. He is haunting, he's creepy, but at the exact same time, he's just so pitiful and broken. He's incredibly manipulative and dangerous, but you just can't help but feel for the person he used to be. I mean, those iconic scenes where his two personalities are arguing with each other, that's a masterclass in character study, all happening inside one tormented mind.
But this wasn't just about great writing. The secret ingredient here was Andy Serkis's absolutely groundbreaking performance capture work. He gave this digital character a soul. It just set a whole new benchmark, proving that a CGI creation could deliver a performance every bit as layered and tragic as any live actor. He changed everything.
That same idea of grounding the fantastic in something real and emotional brings us to our third pillar, the film's spectacular, absolutely jaw-dropping climax, the Battle of Helm's Deep. Seriously, think about all the epic movie battles you've seen since this came out. Even after all these years, Helm's Deep is still held up as the gold standard. It's the one that all the others are measured against. So, why is that? It's because the whole sequence is just so meticulously crafted. First off, the stakes feel real. We aren't just watching nameless armies fight, we're in a fortress defending ordinary people, and that grounds the entire battle in this very real, emotional dread. Second, the claustrophobic tension. The director, Peter Jackson, uses the pouring rain, the darkness, and these really tight shots to build an almost unbearable sense of intensity. And third, the monumental scale. You truly feel the overwhelming odds and just the sheer, terrifying chaos of it all.
And that's the experience, isn't it? It's not just a spectacle you watch. It's a visceral, exhausting, and totally gripping piece of filmmaking that puts you right there on the walls with the defenders, feeling every single moment.
So when you put all these pieces together, the split story, the landmark character, the epic battle, you start to see why this film is so much more than just a bridge connecting the first and third movies.
So let's just bring it all home. What do critics and fans always point to? A bold story structure that makes the world feel bigger, a groundbreaking digital character that redefined what was even possible, and a battle sequence that basically set the bar for an entire genre.
At the end of the day, The Two Towers does everything a great sequel is supposed to do. It deepens our connection to the characters we love, it dramatically raises the stakes, and it sends the whole trilogy hurtling forward with this unstoppable momentum, all while feeling like a complete, satisfying story in its own right.
It leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about, doesn't it? Is a great sequel about perfecting the formula of the first movie, or is it about having the guts to just tear up the rulebook and build something even bolder? The Two Towers makes a pretty powerful case for the second one.